Welcome to Dad Rock, episode 4. This episode is going to be about the top favorite, or my top favorite, hair band ballad songs, okay? Spanning from 1985 to 1990. Now, for now, it's 4th of July weekend, so I'm getting a little silly sparkler here, so let's get silly. Let's have some fun with this episode. I hope you could comment below your favorite hair band ballads, what you're doing this weekend, if you're going to be getting silly like I am, and if you don't like fun and partying, tune out now. Let's go. Oh! I didn't know you were there. So, as I discussed in the intro, I'm going to be going over the top 20 80s hair band ballads, but I'm going to be spanning the years of 1985 to 1990 because that's when I was in from 5th grade to freshman year in high school, and then the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, those years in between were the height of it for me. So, let's do this. Now, I would like to start this top 20 countdown with a story. When I was in 8th grade, my class did a class trip to Washington, D.C. A lot of classes did that back in the day. We'd go on the class trip to Washington, D.C. And I wasn't feeling well that morning, and I felt nauseous back then. I got a lot of nervousness and anxiety, but I didn't know what it was because I was a kid. It was the 80s, so I just dealt with it. But it just kind of got the best of me, and I threw up in the dog bowl in my kitchen in my parents' house. But I ended up going anyway, so when I got to my mom drove me to the school, middle school, and the bus was waiting. I was the last kid to show up. Everyone was waiting for me, so it was kind of awkward. I got on the bus, didn't say anything that I was sick earlier, sat down next to my friend, and he had Van Halen 5150 on his Walkman. And I was thinking to myself, man, I really wish I could listen to that and enjoy that, but I just wasn't feeling well and couldn't enjoy anything. So anyway, midway through the bus ride, I started throwing up because I was car sick. On top of everything else, I used to get motion sickness back then, so I started going like this. But I held it all in my mouth. So I threw up in my mouth and held it in. I looked over at my friend while I was going, and I noticed that he was looking out the window. He didn't notice. He was gleefully listening to his Van Halen record, or tape. And I held it in my mouth. I walked to the back of the bus and spit out the puke into the toilet, and I came back and sat down, and no one ever knew. Now, when we got to Washington, D.C., my friends ditched me. We went to the museum, and they all ran around like the stairwells and grouped up and ditched me, and that wasn't too much fun either. So, when you listen to Van Halen, Why Can't This Be Love? I would like you to picture me throwing up and holding it in my mouth on the bus, moving forward. Anyway, let's get on. Number 19, I have Queensryche's Silent Lucidity. Is this a hair ballad? Well, it came out in 1990 on the album Empire, and it's towards, to me personally, as hair bands and stuff right before it started withering away. I count it as it, so Silent Lucidity, Queensryche. Number 18, I have Whitesnake, Is This Love, came out in 1987. That had to be on this list. As a matter of fact, Whitesnake is a fun band, and I've been listening to them for years, and I ran into the bassist, who is married to Dre DiMatteo, who Elliot interviewed at a horror convention. So after the interview, he was hanging there. I said, oh, wait a minute, I think I recognize you. He said, yeah, I play bass for Whitesnake. So let's roll. You know what? Let's get that picture up there. There I am, hanging out, having a good time with the bassist from Whitesnake, just chilling, hanging out, and I just really enjoyed this picture, and I hope you do as well. Now, while this picture is still up, I would like to move on to number 17. Number 17, I have Guns N' Roses' Patience from their Lies EP. And it's funny because at that same convention, in that same room around the same time, I actually ran into Axl Rose. And here I am with Axl, and we're just hanging out, having a good time, getting a little wild. And that's what life's all about. Now, let's move on to number 16. I'm going to pick up the pace a little bit here. Extreme, More Than Words, 1990, number 16. Slaughter, Fly to the Angels, 1990 as well, number 15. Number 14, I have Warrant, Heaven, which came out in 1989. Number 13, I have Lita Ford, Close My Eyes Forever, which is that song he did with Ozzy Osbourne. That was 1988. Number 12, I have Tesla, Love Song, 1989 from the album Great Radio Controversy. Really good song, and that singer has an awesome voice. And number 11, I have Cinderella, Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone, off the album Long Cold Winter, which came out in 1988. Here we are, the top 10. Okay, number 10, I have Motley Crue, Home Sweet Home, which was released in 1985. This was always on MTV, even after 1985, like 1986, 1987, from what I remember. It was always like that top countdowns and MTV video countdowns and stuff. It was played so often that it's part of my life. Now, number 9, White Line, When the Children Cry. I think I learned that song on guitar when I was taking guitar lessons as well. And for number 8, I have Skid Row, I Remember You, which was released in 1989. Sebastian Bach is a fun guy. I think he's very entertaining. He's got an incredible voice, and I think he's funny. And I hope Elliot can interview him someday because I really just think he's swell. And for number 7, I have Poison, Every Rose Has Its Thorn, which was released in 1988 on Open Up and Say Ah. Poison reminds me of partying. And like I said earlier, if you're not into fun and partying and taking everything so seriously, then you might not like this list at all. But I'm having a good time, and I hope that you're having a good time. Number 5, I kind of cheated on this one. So let's talk about this a little bit. Number 5, I have Ozzy Osbourne, Killer of Giants, which was released in 1986 on the Ultimate Sin record, which I have right here. Now, was Ozzy a hair band? Well, at this time, look at the photos, look at the pictures of him, look at the pictures of the band, and yes, they were a hair band to me around those times. And nothing wrong with that. Like I said, yes, he was more gritty and more dangerous, let's say, than a lot of those other bands. More dark, I could say as well. But I wanted him to be in this list, and Killer of Giants to me is actually a ballad, especially by today's standards. So it's in the list. Sorry, I'm really excited because we're up to the... Why would you laugh like that? Sorry guys, I'm really excited because they're down to the top 4.
I just wanted to say sorry. I laughed in the last clip. I ruined it. It was very unprofessional of me. I hope we can just move on. I am deeply sorry.
You see, I'm an actor, so I need to concentrate when we're working on comedy. So everyone in the room needs to be on the same page as me because it takes a lot of energy to get physical comedy going. So moving forward, he's going to remember that. So back to what we're here for, we're talking about these songs. So for number 4, I have Europe, The Final Countdown. What an incredible song. That was a pop hit to me. A lot of these songs were like, to me, pop songs. This is my version of pop songs for back then. But anyway, how could you not talk about that song without hearing the intro in your head? You know how it goes. So that is number 4. For number 3, I have Def Leppard, Love Bites, which was released in 1987. Off of this album. For number 2, I have Bon Jovi. This was one of my favorite albums of those times, and this was released in 1986, Slippery When Wet. And this album was really big when I was going to the junior high school dances. And that's when I first realized that girls actually did kind of like me. I would ask them to dance during Shot Through the Heart or, any Bon Jovi song that they played, and they said yes. And it really made me feel good. And I really have great memories of this album during those times. And I think John Bon Jovi is a wonderful person as well. But anyway, the song is Never Say Goodbye. Beautiful video, beautiful song, and that's why it's number 2, and he's one of the greatest. And he's from New Jersey, which we live in New Jersey. So I really wanted to just give a little extra talk about this. Now it's time to throw in an honorable mention, and this band I don't think as many people know about, or maybe they do, I don't know, but a band called Britney Fox, and the song was called Save the Week. It was like a cool ballad, and I thought it was really cool back then, but then I didn't listen to it much since then. I don't listen to it as much now, but I just figured it'd be an honorable mention because there are so many 80s bands or 80s hair ballad bands or 80s hair bands that I didn't mention, so I wanted to mention just an extra one like Britney Fox. In the comments below, please let me know some bands that I missed and some songs that I missed, and we'll make our own playlist in the comments of our ultimate party hair ballad list. But yeah, so that was my honorable mention, and it makes me think like, where are those band members now? What are they up to now? So you know what? Let's roll in a picture of myself as an example of where are they now. So here's me in what looks to be 6th or 7th grade on the left there, and that's me now on the right. Now it's time for number 1, the top song on this list of favorite hair band ballads from 1985 to 1990. Are you ready? Number 1 is the Scorpions' Wind of Change. It was released in 1990 off the album Crazy World. Yes, I think you're going to ask, well, were they really a hair band then? Yes, I think this counts as a hair band ballad of those times. And I also picked this as number 1 because it's one of my favorite songs from that era in that genre. Wind of Change is such a beautiful song. I love it so much. And it was also 1990s when I went to high school as a freshman. So that's the tail end of this whole era. And it was one of the last songs and one of the best, or the best song to me, of all that that type of music that I really continued to like. Because after that, I kind of fell off just like most everyone else did, because new and exciting things happened. Because 1989, little did we know it at the time, but a band called Nirvana released an album called Bleach. And then in 1991, we all knew it, and that's right after freshman year, right when I started sophomore year in high school. It was September 24th, 1991, Nirvana released the album called Nevermind, and that changed everything. It started the grunge movement, and these bands kind of hit the back burner, most of them. And this kind of music, they just got blown out of the water by Nirvana. So the next episode is going to be about Nirvana, the grunge movement, and those kind of bands and those records. But I just want to say that this stuff is fun music. It doesn't mean that it was not good. It just means that something new and exciting came along, which was perfect for those times. For these times, especially for me, junior high school in the 80s, it was a lot of fun, and I still reminisce on these bands and listen to these songs, especially when I just want to have a good time and not take anything too seriously, because a lot of times these days people take things too seriously, and I don't know. I don't think, when I go to see Kiss live, I'm not going for like a big serious thing. I'm going for a good time. And that's what this was all for. Stay tuned for the next episode.